So, what do you do when you lose your important documents? I know this can be something that's horrifying, mortifying. You have your important documents, you have to turn it in, you have to turn it in tomorrow, and then you go look for it, and then you don't even have them. What do you do? So, fear not. If you lost a piece of paper that's important to you, especially like a birth certificate or an insurance card, it can be devastating. Luckily, there are steps that you can take to get access to these lost records again. Here are some tips on how to find your important documents if they're lost or stolen. So the first thing that you want to do is, it sounds pretty obvious because it is, the first thing you want to do is look for them. So the first thing you want to do is look for them. It may seem obvious, but it's important to check all the places where you might have lost your documents. Your home, of course, check every corner of your home. Your car, your office. If you don't find them, consider checking other locations that might contain personal information, like maybe a storage, maybe misplaced in the storage drawer or something. If all else fails and you still can't seem to find them, then we have to go on to the next step, which is replacing your important documents. So let's start off with certificates, awards, and diplomas. So I will do, say a little short story. So once upon a time, I had a storage unit, and this was during the height of COVID, and I couldn't work or do anything. So I ended up losing access to my storage unit, right? And I had thought that I had put my high school diploma, in there. So I'm actually going to call them out. So it was public storage. So they weren't even able to give me access to get my high school diploma or my birth certificate. Like they were like, well, you can ask the next person who gets the storage unit if you can get your birth certificate or your high school diploma. So first thing, if they ever say anything crazy like that, run. Do not put money into a storage unit. Ask them about the scenario. Say, sir, whenever you're getting a storage unit, say, sir, so what happens if something happens and I can't pay for it, pay for a month? What would happen, say I have my birth certificate and my high school diploma. What would happen, I lost access to it. If they say anything to the effect of, oh, well, you just gotta hope and pray that the other person who buys it gives it back to you, run. Do not do that. Store your stuff anywhere else with a friend. Anywhere else. Do not accept that as a valid answer. So yeah, that's just a little short story. I actually ended up having it. I actually brought it back in one of my bins. So yeah, but yeah, they sold off everything, and most of it was junk anyways, and I don't even know why I was storing it. So they were able to sell off all that junk, and I still had all the important things like my mother's rings, and I actually did have my diploma, so I didn't have to go through that. But I did go through the process of getting back my diploma, so I have personal experience with replacing your high school diploma. So if you lost a certificate, award, or diploma, the first thing you want to do is contact your school. They will likely have contacts for the organization in which you can replace it. So for my school, when I graduated, they used like a computer program, or not even a computer program, another company that stores our high school diploma, right? So I had to get access to it through them. So I had to go through all of that. And I ended up getting my high school diploma, I'm sorry, that was my transcript. But that's how I got my transcript. But let me tell you about high school diplomas. So keep in mind, most schools want you to show up in person when requesting these documents. So keep that in mind. Especially keep that in mind that you might have to make a trip back to your hometown in the event that these get misplaced. So like I was living in, I think it was just an hour away from my hometown at the time. This was, of course, when I thought that I wasn't going to get my my high school diploma back along with my birth certificate. So what I ended up doing was calling the school, and they were like, okay, if you need another diploma, you're going to have to come up here and fill out all these forms and do A, B, C, and D. And I was like, oh, I'm an hour away. Can I get somebody to do it for me? And they were like, no, you have to. So I know this is across the board. If you need to replace your high school diploma or any awards or certificates, you need to go through the school that you got them from. Again, they're going to want you to show up in person, but you want to go through those facets, you know. So they're going to have access to those documents. They keep them for a long time, and I know if it's been decades, like decades upon decades, I do know that in Kentucky they have like a department of educational, like it's like a department they send educational records to that you have to reach out to, and they have like a record of your, after so long, schools just take that and send it to them. So yeah, ask around from like ask your Department of Education if the school can't help you, but the school will 90% of the time tell you how to get those back, or they'll just replace it. Now, if it's an award or something, then they might just like send it to you by mail, but 9 times out of 10 they might want you to show up to the school. So just keep that in mind. Next, Social Security cards and birth certificates. If you have a Social Security card, birth certificate, and passport, you can order a replacement online. You'll need to provide your name, date of birth, Social Security number when applying for a replacement. You can also go to the Social Security office and get them replaced in person. So I had also misplaced my Social Security number the first time, so I had to get a replacement for that as well. So all you got to do is go online, and they'll send you a replacement. I believe, if I remember correctly, it took me like maybe 2 weeks. I might be fibbing. It might have taken it a week for it to get to me, but I believe it took 2 weeks. So yeah, just go online, and it's all online now. So you'll be able to get it replaced online. You won't have to worry about, you can go up to the office, but most of it's done online. So next is driver's licenses or state ID cards. So if you lost your driver's license or state ID card, just go to the DMV and they'll be able to help you retrieve it from their system. So you'll be able to get your replacement, for those documents from the DMV, and you won't have to worry about it. They have all of the information, have all of that stored. So just go up to the DMV and they'll get all of that replaced. So next is your vehicle registration documents and title certificates. If your vehicle registration documents and title certificates are missing, the first thing you have to do is check the glove compartment of for your registration papers. Look under the seats. So that's the first thing. Look for them around your car, first and foremost. If you find them, put them in a safe place. If not, call the DMV immediately so they can give you a new copy. So a new copy can be made for you. And hopefully no damage has been done. Hopefully it hasn't been stolen. Hopefully no hullabaloo has gone on, and you're able to get your cards and your cards and everything replaced. So next is going to be your health insurance cards and your Medicare cards. So of course, the following things are stuff that you can do. You can ask your doctor or hospital to make a hospital for a copy of those documents if they have copies of those documents. So that's going to be more of a temporary solution, like if you need it by next few days. and you just need the numbers off of them really quickly. You can go to the hospital and hopefully ask them for copies of the documents. Hopefully they'll give it to you depending on what hospital it is, of course. So that's more of a temporary solution, of course. What you want to do is call your health insurance company and ask them to send a copy of your card. So they're going to be able to send you a copy. So you're just going to reach out to them and they'll send you a copy for everything. So you won't have to worry. And if you're on Medicare, of course, ask Medicare and they're going to be able to give you a copy as well. So next is going to be something that's very important, passports and citizenship papers, especially if you're abroad. So if you misplace your passport while traveling abroad, you must replace it right away in order to return home. This is something that you don't want to lose. This is something that you want to have on your person at all times. Do not put your passports in a place where they can be easily taken, stolen, or misplaced. Always keep them in a safe place where you know nothing can happen to them, nothing will be tampered with, and everything will be good. So yeah, but you do need these documents to get home. So you make sure that you are able to. So make sure that you're able to get them, or make sure that you're able to have them with you. So if you already lost it before your vacation, you're going to want to replace it, of course, before your vacation. If you're at home. If you have travel arrangements in the near future, make sure that you get them replaced then. But you are going to need to, of course, appear in person by visiting the passport office or embassy, or consulate abroad. Consulate, I am so sorry. Consulate abroad. If the offices are far apart, then this can take some time. But remember, you need these documents to get home. And also keep in mind that you're going to be coughing up a $150 replacement fee in most circumstances. And you will have to stay and wait in that country until the documents are sent to you, or sent back to you. So make sure whatever country you find yourself in is a safe country, as you're going to be there you're going to be there, as we say in the country, you're going to be there for a spell. If your passport has been stolen or damaged beyond repair, God forbid, we recommend that you contact local law enforcement and authorities in the country that you're in as soon as possible so they can investigate the situation. You do not want anybody impersonating you from a foreign country, especially. So make sure you contact the authorities of whatever country that you're in, and they'll be able to further help you. And see if there's any charges that need to be filed against the people that stole your things. Let me try and move here really quickly, see if the light makes a difference. And of course, identity theft does exist in all countries, so keep that in mind. You want to find those documents if they're lost abroad as soon as possible. Do not rule out the possibility of them getting stolen. Again, you want to go to local law enforcement and let them know that your stuff has been stolen, your passports and everything has been stolen. Like I said, you don't want another. We don't want another Billy Bob #2 popping up. Next thing you know, you're on record for doing 500 illegal things in like 2 days. So, go to local law enforcement. Let them know that your stuff has been stolen, so they don't think that you were running around committing 101 crimes. So that's going to be very important. Of course, next is your military service records. If you're in the military, of course, your DD-214s, your discharge papers. So if your DD-214 papers have been lost or destroyed, you may apply for a duplicate at no charge by contacting the National Personnel Record Center, NPRC, in St. Louis, Missouri, or by sending them a letter or arriving there in person at your local Veterans Affairs office. So they'll be able to help you with that. So next is your tax returns, your W-2s, and 1099s, and other tax information. This is something that I've also very recently, actually a few weeks ago, had to go through. So you can get your replacement documents straight from the IRS if you misplace them. Your W-2s during tax time, you can notify your CPA and they'll be able to contact the IRS on your behalf and get your W-2s for you, right? So the IRS has specific requirements regarding what type of information must be included on each form. Of course, Form 1040 for example. But if it's during tax time, you can always like TurboTax or any of them. You can go to them, and they'll be able to help you get you squared away and everything. I had to contact, what is it? Excuse me. Hewitt Packard or somebody. Forgive me. I contacted them, right? And they were able to fill out a form. They got my tax returns all the way back from the time I had turned 18. They got it way back. So they'll be able to help you definitely recover it, especially like for any tax returns or anything. So yeah. Next is going to be your bank statement, stocks, and investment records. If you use an investment app, you can get the records by contacting customer service or going onto your platform's dashboard, clicking onto your account, and printing them from there. Of course, when it comes to your bank statements, the process is about the same, a lot more simpler. Most banks have like a self-service option for getting your statements for free. You can also go to your bank in person and receive a copy of your statement from the bank teller. They can also print it, but I recommend just going on your computer or your phone or somewhere online and printing it yourself. It doesn't take much time, maybe like 10 minutes or so. So, that's one of the easiest documents that you can get. Of course, if you're looking for the previous year or something, it'll also be able to do that as well. All right, so next is deeds to real estate, car titles, and mortgages. If you require a replacement property deed, the county records office will be your first stop. The property deed is available in both official and certified copies, depending on your requirements. Services for accessing files typically come with a small fee, depending on where you are, of course. Your transaction will be handled in its entirety by a qualified intermediary. The majority of countries in the counties in the United States maintain real estate transaction records at the registers of deeds or county records office. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied today. Obtaining a replacement certificate of title for a vehicle that has already titled to you is a simple process. It becomes more difficult if you lose the title you've received from the seller before having it transferred into your own name, of course. Most states allow you to simply apply to your Secretary of State for a replacement title, so make sure you go there. Any court order that grants you the title to the car will suffice as long as it includes the year, make, and VIN of the vehicle you want titled. If you own a valued late car model, you can obtain a surety bond from the insurance or bonding company as well. I know some require it, like what was it, Michigan? So keep that in mind. Of course, in conclusion, losing your documents can be a pain in the butt. It is something you definitely don't want to deal with, especially if you have a passport and you have to stay in a country, making sure that country is safe, making sure that you have everything that you need so you can go abroad, and making sure that you are able to find your documents, get them, and all that good stuff, of course. So that concludes today's video. The next episode is finding a notary public for specialized papers. So stay tuned for that one. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe, of course. And yeah, have a good day.